Hey everyone, so I am back in Australia and I'm in Melbourne and it's my last semester of university. So I just can't wait to make this both an academic and both, living my life great. And today in this video, I wanted to sort of just talk about what I love about Melbourne because this is the city where I live, and for all of you who have never been to Melbourne, thought that would be fun. So the first thing I love about Melbourne is definitely the buildings here. Melbourne is such a beautiful city, and I did art history a lot in uni, and also I did art history back in high school. And Melbourne used to be one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It had the most beautiful buildings, most beautiful banks, and you're talking about like beautifully carved gargoyles in stone, statues in stone affixed to buildings, and they were just amazing. Big, grand, beautiful. Fortunately, they had to knock down a lot of them because they didn't adhere to the fire restrictions for the buildings, and they had to knock down a lot of the banks, and a lot of the statues are actually at uni, like being displayed near like a car park entrance and stuff, which is pretty sad because they used to be, fixed to grand buildings. Federation Square is one of my favorite places because it has strings of fairy lights across the top, so it looks like you have a constant installation above you. So it's just amazing. It's beautiful to look at. The art scene here is great, so if you are more of a European kind of person instead of like a New York kind of person, I would say definitely come to Melbourne because I feel like the whole vibe here is more European than anything. It's like more like artsy, more like just more artsy, like cafe culture, like coffee culture, like art culture, gallery kind of culture. So that's kind of vibe I get from Melbourne. And the second thing I love about is the coffee. So everyone talks about Melbourne coffee, and everyone who comes to Melbourne probably misses the coffee because the coffee here is like amazing. It's like so good. You wouldn't even imagine coffee from coffee. It's like different cups of coffee can taste different from different cafes, which is like amazing, right? For me, comparing to Singapore, when you find Western coffee in Singapore, it's like someone poured a Nescafe sachet into the cup and stirred it around, poured some milk in. Like that's what it tastes like to me now. And I know I feel like kind of like a coffee snob, and I'm really sorry, but judging from the coffee back in Singapore to coffee back here, it's like totally different. And I can see why, because it's just so good here. Like no joke. I don't know how to explain that to you. It's just so good. Of course, it's kind of hard to compare because Asian coffee and Western coffee is like different. So Asian coffee is like, kopi, like filtered coffee, like in a sock. You don't drink it out of a sock, but it's like filtered through a sock thing. And then you eat it with like kaya toast and eggs and like soft-boiled eggs, and you stir it around, dip your kaya toast in and eat it and drink it. So good. And then you have your like Western coffee, it's like in a cup, and then you're like latte, cappuccino. Oh my god, coffee here is amazing. It's like different roast. It's like you can taste the roast. You can taste where the coffee bean came from. Like, why am I such a coffee aficionado? I don't know. Next thing I love is food. I'm not a foodie. I am not a food critic. I am not anything like that, but I do like my food. I do like eating it, and I do love eating food. When I think about Melbourne food, I think about different cuisines. There's like everything here. There's like Chinese, Lebanese, Indian, there's like a mix of cultures in Melbourne. And there's a lot of universities in Melbourne, so that's why there's like a lot of international students. And then because the international students here, their moms and dads come here and they open up restaurants, which is like fantastic because they bring their own culture, they bring their own cuisine over, and sometimes a fusion happens. And oh my gosh, like when I think about truly Melbourne Australian food, I'm supposed to think of kangaroo and stuff, but that's not true, okay? I think about brunch. Like I eat brunch here a lot, my friends and I, and we have like bagels, we have eggs, we have salmon, we eat it. So good. It's kind of pricey. Like I would say like food is kind of pricey compared to Asia, obviously, where you can like go out and with like $3 or $5 and get something from like a hawker center. You can't get that here. I love the transport system. I know that like people are gonna like get on my case, like especially Melbourne people, because they hate their transport system. Like they're weird people on it. It's not efficient. I was watching the news the other day and they were like complaining that Melbourne trains can't like squeeze enough people in there. I know, okay, I get it, but I just love how there's a tram. Like I might not like the efficiency of the whole system, but I love how there's a tram. I was like staying in Sydney for a while, like not a while, but like 2 or 3 or 4 days. I couldn't get around. I was so used to having trams, like whizzing by and like, oh, I can hop on the tram and then go. Sydney, I had to go in a taxi and pay like, I don't know how much money to the taxi driver to drive me to a certain location. So I'm just saying that I love how there are trams here, and this is fantastic. I talked about food, I talked about coffee, I talked about transport, I talked about, well, like the whole general thing, the whole general vibe for Melbourne is like artsy. Like that's what I can say, like artsy, European, more than anything. And it's just great. Like today, beautiful weather, not a cloud in the sky. It was like super rainy for like, I don't know how long. And with Melbourne, it can be like rainy and then it can be sunny like in one day. Crazy weather. I've changed outfits in a day like 2 or 3 times one time, like in spring. Just crazy, just crazy. So that is my vlog. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions about Melbourne, or if you want any requests done, leave it in the comment section below. I do apologize for not doing a video in like ages, but do know that I was busy. Last week Friday, that was my last day of work for my internship, and then I had to pack, and then I had to leave to Melbourne on Sunday, and then like clean my house and everything, and like, you know, do stuff when I came back here. So finally I can put a video up, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.